Doing some math, Brett Kissel.
Uh-huh.
And are we at, I know before you had your major label debut in 2013 was started with a song. There was a few albums in there. What album number do you consider Let Your Horses Run to be?
I have to do a little bit of math here.
1, 2,
give
3,
me a few
4,
seconds.
5.
Keeping It Country. Then I did By Request as a kid. Then I did Tried and True. Then I did My Roots Run Deep. Then I did a Christmas album, which was 5.
Okay.
Then I did Started With a Song was 6. Then Pick Me Up was 7. We Were That Song was 8.
Yeah.
Now or Never was 9. What Is Life was 10.
Uh-huh.
Then I did the 4 Compass to 14. This is my 15th album.
Go! Who needs Wikipedia when you're riding shotgun with Brett Kissel?
15. Wow, do I feel old. I'm 34 years old, but on all the press that I've done, everybody says, you're a veteran in the business. You're the old guy now. And it makes sense. You look at Josh Ross, you look at Owen Rigling, all these guys coming up through the ranks that are really carrying the torch for Canadian country music. I'm really proud of these guys. I really, really am. But I never thought that it would get to the point where someone's like, you got 15 albums.
Okay, to be clear, your major label debut was 12 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. So you just have been really prolific. Unlike, there's not a lot of people that are as prolific as you are. You released a lot of music in that time. There are some people who've been doing it for as long as you have, but with fewer, so maybe it doesn't feel like they've been around for as long. The fact that you've been so prolific adds
I guess
to that.
so.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate how you turn that into a positive as I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Like, where do I sit necessarily in the fabric of Canadian country music? But when a new album comes out, there's a lot of pressure and there are a lot of nerves, which is still very exciting to be at this point in my career and still be nervous for the outcome of what people are going to think when they hear the new record. It still is a part of my psyche.
Okay, but there's got to be a little bit of the ability to exhale slightly because your catalog's strong, so many hits in there, just constant hit after hit after hit, charting songs after charting songs. You have this, you know this because whenever you put a set list together, you have to leave some hits on the table.
True.
You have
We
to
are
cut
at
some
that
stuff,
point now,
right?
yes.
Right. You've been at that point for a while, I would say. So you know that you'll always be able to tour Canada and play and have a set list full of hits. Now it's like, maybe get some new fans with some new songs and stuff. I get it. So there's pressure's obviously still there because, what have you done for me lately? That kind of thing. And all artists suffer from recency bias.
Yes.
Right? You like your new thing. You want people to be as excited about your new stuff as you are. But you also still have that back catalog of great work and achievements that you can rest on.
It's an interesting headspace, and I really appreciate you saying all of that. Without a doubt, it makes me feel good. It really does. But you're right about the recency bias, but also our industry has always been this way, and that's okay. But it's what have you done for me lately? Or you're only as good as your last song. Yeah. Because if you actually release 3, 4, 5 duds in a row, it's over. So for me, it's very important to put my best foot forward always in all ways. So for me, the Let Your Horses Run album took time, care, and attention to put my best foot forward and to put this body of work together that I am incredibly proud of, because I can sit across the desk from you and have everybody listening on New Country, and I can tell you I'm incredibly proud of this work, and I truly believe it is some of my best.
Okay, so you've always been really good at putting a message into a song that has a great hook. And that's just like, what a great combo that is, right? It's like, because a message song can be like, sometimes when somebody will write a song because of a thing that happens in a horrible event in the world or whatever, and people are trying to raise money, sometimes that song it's going to be connected to that time specifically. It might not age very well, but you've got a great way of putting great messages into songs that also have great hooks. So you can engage with them either on an emotional level, where you connect with the message, or you can just like hum along or sing along and not even worry about what the message is. That's a real skill that you've got there.
Well, Paul, I appreciate that. I think country music as a genre does a wonderful job of that. We've all got our favorite songs from very special moments in our life, and I just feel very, very lucky to have had songs like Tough Times Don't Last, Tough People Do, that today in 2025 maybe is even more relevant than it was when I released that 11 years ago. Or Let Your Horses Run, which came out last year, which is the entire backbone of this whole record, that I believe is going to it's a flag that I planted because it's a song with a really special message. And yes, we plan the entire record around that song to find others or write others that follow same vibe and same message. So I think you need to have these pillars in your career that allow you to become the artist that can have some legacy. And Tim McGraw, George Strait, Garth Brooks, they've done an amazing job of that. I'm just maybe trying to follow in their footsteps. Paul Brandt, a great Canadian, same thing too.
Let Your Horses Run is a good one because not only does the song, the lyrics of the song have a message in the body of the song, and the music's also like you can hum along with the music. It's super catchy on the side, but the actual title itself is like you could throw meaning in there.
Yes.
And different kinds of meaning depending on what your situation. Let your horses run?
Yeah.
That could be a personal thing. I'm going to let my horses run.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's you telling somebody to let your horses run, or I'm going to let my kids run, or I'm going to, everybody I bump into the world, I'm going to spread positivity and let them run.
Yes.
You know?
Well, it's interesting you say that because sometimes that happens by accident.
Yeah.
But that message of Let Your Horses Run, it came from a core idea that really was a metaphor for bravery, courage, perseverance. Jesse Fraser and I wrote that song. He's got 20 or 25 number ones now, Old Dominion, Kane Brown, Thomas Rhett, the list goes on. And so he and I were talking about a message I wanted to leave for my kids. I don't know why we got on the topic of like, really, if tomorrow never comes, what would I tell my kids? And so Let Your Horses Run is very upbeat, up-tempo, very uplifting. And so we started throwing in all of these different metaphors and these sayings. And in the verses, that's what I love the most, is saying things like, don't buy all that, don't buy all they advertise, like the world, society. They polish up that kryptonite. And pretty soon, if you buy into the negativity, you'll wonder why you can't fly. So rattle the cages and rewrite the pages because freedom's contagious. Yeah, that's the truth. And then you go into a big chorus. So Jesse crafts a great message, produces a great song. And yes, now we have something that has more meaning than I ever thought it was going to have.
Some fun with words there too, right?
Yes.
Like sometimes country writing can be exposed for being a little Dr. Seussy. You know what I mean?
I've been there. I've got a bunch of those songs
where you could where lyric videos would pop up. When back in the CMT days, we'd watch some lyric videos sometimes. I mean, like, this person should not release a lyric video for this song because it exposes the simple lyrics can be great and they can be powerful, but sometimes they look a little too cat. Sad. You know what I mean?
I know
but
exactly
that song,
what you
mean. You just did with Contagious. What? Do the line again?
So rattle the cages and rewrite the pages. Freedom's contagious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that's good. That's like Marshall Mathers would be proud of that one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you're a big star in the world of media. So the next time you and Eminem are having a conversation, just bring up, hey, I got a buddy named Brett Kissel. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it's good though. It's good. It's like it's thinking. It's not forcing a word into a place.
Yeah.
It's just like allowing the pronunciation of a word to breathe a little bit, to grab onto something.
Well, and I love when the pendulum swings in country music where on the record, for example, you've got a lot of stuff that's going to pull on your heartstrings. It is. But then you also have the song I wrote with Cooper Allen, which is pure fun, where this is songwriting 101 too. You take that one last straw, you put it in a glass, too much work, boss man can kiss my, and then you just let the crowd sing along to it too. Yeah. So as a creator, you need the opportunity to actually create a set list, as we were talking about earlier. As a creator, you're having a record that is very much like a set list where you can take people on a journey. And so you have the fun songs, you've got the sad songs, you've got the party anthems, and then you've got the songs that are going to, tug on your heartstrings. I'm very proud that Let Your Horses Run has a lot of that on this 10-song record.
Talking about how prolific you are, and just thinking about the amount of work that you put into the Compass Project, all of that, and then just like keeping it going, not sitting back and letting anything kind of settle or whatever. There's a fire inside you. It's not diminished by the fact that you're a busy dad, and that you've got other business ventures and stuff like that going on. There's a fire inside you that it makes it easy for guys like me to talk to you about, because you've always got something going on.
Thank you.
Every now and again, when we're talking about, it's not just Canadian country music, it's music. Some musicians, like, they'll write something, release it, and then go away and retreat or whatever. Yeah. You don't seem to ever retreat from life.
It's not part of my makeup. And I understand the value of rest now. I do. And rest in terms of for the purpose of recharging my batteries.
Yeah.
Or for the purpose of being the best dad that I can be, in the best partnership and relationship with Cecilia that I can have. But at the same time, I feel the most fulfilled. I actually get the most joy out of working towards a goal and having that fire. And I can tell you today, in late February 2025, I have more fire today, deep down inside in my gut and under my backside. Like, I am ready to go and have more fire today than I did 10 years ago. Yeah. And I don't know why that is. It just is. And I'm grateful for that. And when the fire goes out, it'll go out, and that's fine, but not today.
I'm not sure you have any more or less. I think, you know how there's the amount of matter that was created, the Big Bang, believe it or not, whatever.
Our whole universe was in a hot dense. Yeah.
But like the amount of matter that exists is always the amount of matter that will always be. So I have a feeling like the amount of energy that Brett Kissel has is the same, and maybe it's gone through ebbs and flows from time to time. But that guy that came up to me on the red carpet at the CCMA Awards in New Brunswick in whatever year it was, 2006, and said, "Mr. McGuire, one day you're going to be interviewing me." It's the same energy you've got like sitting across this table from me right now.
Well,
you son of a gun.
When I think about, being 16 and having no fear and coming up to one of the biggest stars in media and saying that, like, I maybe wish I had a little bit more tact, or maybe
no, you were great.
I wish I wasn't as naive in thinking that I could just walk up to the Paul McGuire, and stuff like that. But maybe that having no fear as a teenager was a good thing. And maybe obviously it was memorable because look, 18 years later.
Yeah.
No.
It was nothing. It's. I mean, more people should be inspired by that, and you behaved in a completely and totally appropriate way. It was great. Like I worry sometimes when I see kids that aren't. I mean, you were a kid then.
Yeah.
That are worried about going up and talking to adults or talking to people or engaging with the world. Not to get off detoured about like what screens have done to us or anything like that. But I just mean that you you have been chasing that. Ever since then, and you're still doing it. You're still chasing it.
Well, it's all I ever wanted. And there's a lot of people that are listening to New Country right now. There's a lot of artists that are coming up through the ranks. You can scroll through your TikTok and your Instagram and stuff like that. And we all want to make it. We all do. Now, making it is different for all of us. But I've always wanted to do this. So I wake up in the morning today on this press tour with so much gratitude and appreciation and excitement that I get to do this, that I get to see a friend that, like in 2 years, we will have been buddies for 20 years.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I know.
And look at where we are in our life. Look at what we've all been able to do, you and I. And I just feel like if you start your day with a lot of gratitude and appreciation, that is without a doubt what you're going to attract. The book talks about it in the Law of Attraction. The Secret, if you watch it or read it, and all of the Tony Robbins kind of guys, the Dan Martell kind of guys, the Patrick Bet-Davids, the list goes on. Anybody who has accomplished anything in life or business really talks about one of your core pillars and foundations needs to be gratitude. So today, standing here and speaking into this microphone and to your wonderful audience on New Country, I'm so excited about the new record. I'm so grateful I get to do this. And I'm excited for my tour, and people are going to see that when they see me at the Horseshoe, on March the 16th. It's a wonderful season and chapter of life, and Let Your Horses Run, I really believe is the driving force behind this.
I've also been talking, obviously, about the Horseshoe gig, but also the fact that you're playing a bunch of stops. You're spending like the month of March in Ontario.
Yes.
Playing Richmond Hill and playing like all these different places that normally you might not go to.
Of course,
And I just think it's going to be a chance for people who already love you to come and see you, but also for you to make some new fans. And imagine that 20 years in, making a whole bunch of new fans with new music just by going out and pounding the pavement.
And buddy, that's the point. That's the point of this all. I'm very excited for the tour because the Side You've Never Seen tour gives me an opportunity to peel back a bunch of layers and actually like everybody can take a peek behind the curtain as to why I wrote the songs or the way the song was supposed to be. And I play a little bit of that, and then I play the way that they would recognize it, from hearing it on the radio for so many years. This tour has been so good for my soul, so good for the heart, and I think really great for the audiences who are literally saying, I didn't know that, or I didn't know these stories, or I didn't know that Brett Kissel, to speak in third person, like I see it on my Instagram, I didn't know you could do that, or that you could put on a show in this way. I'm very proud of the tour. So people can get their tickets. It's almost sold out across the board, but just go to brettkissel.com and come and experience the side you've never seen.
You have gratitude for everybody. We have gratitude for you. I have gratitude for you personally.
Thanks
For
buddy.
this, man. It's always amazing to talk to you.
The pleasure's all mine.
Thanks, brother.